Why don't we start if you could just tell me a little bit about your background and where you're from and maybe a little bit about your family and what type of upbringing you have.
So I'm Polish. I was born in Białystok, and that's northeast of Poland, and that's where I grew up, basically.
Oh, until you were how old?
Until I was 24,
Oh, okay.
and then I moved to Denmark.
Oh, okay. So, well, can you tell me how do people in that part of the world where you were growing up, do they have certain perceptions about money, maybe different than here in the United States, or how do you think they think about money?
Oh, I think it's changing.
Yeah.
In the past, I would say people maybe were more about family values, but I think consumerism is an idea that is being more and more popular all over the world.
Yeah.
So with time, I think Poland is also becoming a consumer country. But maybe the only difference is in Poland, people don't spend money that they don't have.
Ah.
So the concept of, for example, buying things on credit cards and having a debt and then paying it off, it's very unknown in Poland. I wouldn't say there is no single person that doesn't do that, but in the past, I come from a former communist country. You didn't have credit cards, so people were taught to save money and then spend it, and that's how they still do it. There might be some singular, exceptions that do it otherwise, but in general, people don't use money that they don't have.
Did your parents talk openly about money? Like if they were having issues, would they talk about it in front of you, or was it kept something we don't talk about?
I was very lucky, I would say, because my dad had his own business, even in the deep communism in Poland. So since I was very little, there was always a financial stability.
Was he kind of doing it on the black market, so to speak? Was it a legal business?
No, it was a legal business. So as soon as there was a green light on opening businesses, even during the communist era, my dad, as soon as it was possible in communistic Poland to have private business, my dad gave up I would say, job and a regular job, and he opened up his own business and started earning money. It was fully illegal, but he was one of the first ones.
What type of business was it?
So my dad is educated as a machine engineer, I would say, and he started producing equipment for the farming industry. So it was actually equipment for milking cows, I would say. It was like computerizing milking business, I would say.
And how would you just say what are your perceptions or experiences living in a communist country?
I mean, it's absolutely crazy experience, I would say. I remember very little because I was little, but I do remember that, in a communist country, you didn't have anything. You would walk into a store,
yes,
and it would have empty shelves. There would be nothing. There was nothing that you could buy, so people were given those coupons, and you would stand in a line. I remember my mom would have to stand in a line to get anything on those coupons, like chocolate, toilet paper, anything, absolutely anything. Everything was portioned. So it was very crazy, but very interesting to observe that something like that can exist, actually.
That must have been, so then you moved to Denmark, you were starting to say.
Denmark.
So that must have been quite a shock. Yes?
So, but no, because then the communism fell down.
Got it.
And everything started changing. So I already experienced that in Poland.
I see.
Yeah, and then I moved to Denmark.
Okay. So how long were you in Denmark for, though?
Over 10 years.
Oh, okay. And what do you think about that country or that culture? How do you think they perceive money there?
So Denmark is a very stable.
What did you? So how did in Denmark? How did they perceive money? Do you think?
So Denmark is a very economically stable country. You have free education, and I got my education, one of my educations in Denmark, as a construction project manager.
Yes.
So you have free healthcare. I would say people have very, very good standard of living. In Denmark, when you go to school, you actually get paid. So state always pays people who are studying. It's a small amount of money, but still people need to work, for example, only part-time to be able, and not to pay studies because they are free, but to pay their rent and food.
What about taxes, though? Were the taxes very high, or did people complain about that? Because that's the big argument in the United States, that all those free things are just going to increase people's taxes.
In Denmark never complain about taxes because you have a beautiful country with a very modern transportation system. For example, Danish subway is completely computerized. There are no drivers. It's everything is on sensors. So it's a very advanced country, and people in Denmark are happy about it. And streets are clean. The airport is beautiful. The level of public service is very high, and the taxes are only a little bit higher than here.
Okay.
I would maybe, I don't know, 10%. Not much. They are a little bit higher, but not much.
Got it. And then, so where did your story continue after Denmark?
And then, so as I was studying in Denmark,
Yes.
I had to do an internship and write my dissertation. As a subject of my dissertation, I chose environment-friendly skyscrapers. And in Denmark, there were no skyscrapers, so I was extremely lucky to get into World Trade Center, where they were having the biggest sustainable construction site in the U.S. at that time. So I came to New York for internship to work with the company that was developing World Trade Center.
At the rebuilding of it?
Yes.
Is that what you were involved in?
Yes.
And so what are your impressions of the United States? Even having lived here, I assume, for many years.
Now I've lived here for a few
Yes.
years, yes. So first I came only for internship, and I was absolutely amazed. I really liked it because I really love Denmark too. Don't get me wrong. It's just I think I love new opportunities and changes.
Got it.
When I'm in one place for too long time, I get a little bit bored, and I do like developing myself, learning new things, and challenging myself. So when I went back to Denmark after my internship, I knew I'm gonna get back here, and that's what I did. And I was just blown away by the opportunities that people are. So for example, in Denmark, I also had opportunities, but the projects and the scope of projects were bigger as for construction industry. So that's what I loved it. My only huge advantage from Europe was that I had absolutely free education. So I could start a career here at a corporate level with very good general contracting companies, without any debt that I wouldn't have to pay off. So that was a huge advantage. I would say I was extremely lucky to get the most of both worlds.
So how long did you live in New York?
6 years, over 6 years
6
now.
years? And then the one of the main things I really want to ask you about is that I know part of your story is you decided to leave your job.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how you came to that decision?
So I really like construction industry and everything about it, and I still love buildings, and my last job was fantastic, and you would be shocked to find out that I loved everything about it, and the company and the team and the projects that we had, everything basically. But it was a little bit I could feel that I could do any next project with my eyes closed.
Oh, uh-huh.
You know, that I'm not learning, I'm not developing, I'm not doing anything new. It's something that I've been doing for a long time. And it happened that, you know, we, at the time when I was finishing all the projects, we didn't have anything new coming. So that's when I sat down with my boss, and, you know, he kind of was stressed about it because he said, there is nothing new coming. And I said, like, I am kind of looking for new opportunities. So we made like a mutual agreement, you know, to split ways. And I was set to go because, as I said, I had really wonderful cooperation projects in that company, but I just started traveling. Since then, I've been to maybe over 10 countries within last 7 months.
Oh, so this happened about 7 months ago that you
eight
left.
months ago, yeah.
So, but just that first day must have been a little scary, leaving, you know, a lot of stability, I would think, for a lot of unknown.
Yes, but the thing is that every day when I was coming from work, where everything worked perfectly, I was not happy.
Oh.
So I was kind of wishing for this situation to happen.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because I was coming back and I just like, okay, is it all from a life that I'm getting? Like I perceive life as an adventure.
Uh-huh.
And I always was thinking, oh my God, I want more. I want more of life. Is this all? I know the construction business is great, but I still want more. And so when it happened, and I did a lot of changes in my life before because I moved from Denmark to here. And I was married in Denmark.
Oh.
I got divorced, and after that I was left with nothing. And then also the same here, I was starting from zero.
Uh-huh.
So I'm never afraid of starting from scratch, and because with the change, you're getting unbelievable amount of energy that brings you new opportunities. If you never do that leap, if you never risk something in your life, you will never get anything new. And that was something I wished for. So when I'm in a situation like this, it might be perceived as scary. Of course, maybe it was, but you know, so many people don't make that change. They stay in a comfort zone, and you know, there comes a time in life when you, let's say, very, very old, let's say 80 or 90, or maybe you get to live longer. And then, if you reflect back on your life, and you think that, oh, what is it that you regret? These are the things that you didn't take chances on, you know? And I never want to be in that position that, oh my God, I didn't do that. Why I didn't try this or that? And I never want to be in that situation.
So tell me a little bit about where was the first place that you went?
That I what?
That you traveled to. Where did you go first?
Here?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
when
was-
I took the break, because
Yes.
I traveled around the world even before.
Oh,
So
yeah. When you
When I
first took
stopped-
your break. Yeah.
When I took my break, my God, there were so many countries.
Oh.
I have to focus because.
Well, maybe just tell me a little bit about your travel journey in general. You know, you don't have to go country by country,
No,
but just...
I would like to tell you.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no problem. So
Okay.
there were just so many that I have to think the order. So I think first one was Bermuda. First I went for Bermuda because I haven't been to Caribbean. So I've been traveling all over the world, all over Europe. So I went to Bermuda, and after Bermuda I went to Cambodia and Vietnam.
Oh, uh-huh.
I think it was Cambodia and Vietnam, and that was absolutely mind-blowing.
Yes.
Cambodia is one I've traveled. By now I've been to 33 countries.
In just 7 months you've been...
No, in general,
just
in
in
my
total?
life.
Yes.
And Cambodia is definitely one of the best countries I've ever been to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You went to
I love it.
Angkor Wat, I assume?
Yeah, I did. I did go to Angkor Wat. And in Vietnam, I went to Hanoi, and then I went to see Ha Long Bay, which is so beautiful and amazing. And that was like one of my best travels ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where did you? Where can you? Yeah, just give me the rundown, kind of. Where else did you go to?
So after that, I went to Barbados with my friend. I also went to Brazil. Brazil was very interesting country to see. Brazil, they say it's very dangerous, but it's a poor country, but very beautiful. I went to Rio and I stayed around Copacabana Beach. I went on several trips during my travel to Brazil. So I went on a cruise ship where we were cruising around beautiful lagoons and the nature. Once you are in Brazil and in Rio, you have to get outside of Rio. Although there are a lot of interesting things to do in Rio too. One of the most, I wouldn't say the dangerous thing, but you have to be careful about it, definitely, was my excursion to favela. Do you know what favela is?
Yes.
So you could really see the conditions, how people look like, and the social and economic issues the country faces. You could see in favelas right away. So I was very happy to go there and to see all those places too. Yeah, definitely.
Where did you go after Brazil?
So I went to Indonesia. I think I really have to see my photos because I forgot.
It's so
But
hard to remember.
One of the last countries I went to was hold on. No, sorry. After Brazil, I went to Mexico. Mexico, but it was my third time in Mexico because I went to the area around Guadalajara. And Guadalajara. Mexico, so a lot of Americans go to places like Cancun or Playa del Carmen. If you want to see Mexico, you have to get outside of those places. The only interesting excursions that you can do while you're in Mexico in those kind of places, in resorts, is seeing Chichen Itza, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world.